Volume down.
Welcome, everybody, to Catfish Weekly. Along with Cindy, I'm Lyle, and tonight, Patriot James is going to join us and tell us all about his YouTube channel, Catfish Tournament. James, welcome to the show.
Howdy, 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 everybody. God bless you and God bless America, guys.
Absolutely, man. And we're going to finish up tonight with you doing that just like you do every Wednesday night. I love that part of what you do. The last time we had you on the show, we ran out of electricity, and tonight you're all charged up and ready to rock. So
yes, sir. Got a full battery and plugged up to the wall. So we ready to go. Sorry about that, everybody, from last time.
No, we was having a good time. Palmetto, thanks for joining in. Catawamba Cats, you guys, there's a whole bunch of you in here, YouTube guys. Kyle Rutt, William Barnes, K&B Anglers. K&B's been working on their boat. I've really been enjoying following them, getting that done. Maurice Kaysen, Matthew Schatz, Sonny Parker, Buckeye Catfishing, Team Wampus Cats, Christy Brown. There's just a whole bunch of other people in here tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to talk about this Catfish tournament. But James, before we get started on your YouTube tournament, we got this coronavirus thing going on.
Yes, sir.
And you and I, it's a bad situation. It's kind of worldwide. But I told you today about my theory about this, and I wanted to share this with all the guys and gals that watch us on Monday nights. I have a theory about this, and they can agree or disagree with what I have to say. But I really think that if you'll sit back and think about what I'm going to tell everybody, that the Chinese people couldn't control the protesters in their country. And they couldn't shoot them, and they couldn't control them. And the Democrats couldn't stop Donald Trump. They couldn't keep him from being reelected. So now we got something that wrecked the economy. Was the only way to stop him. The protesters are off of the streets, so just think about that a little bit. And don't forget to go vote when it comes time.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not, me and you talked. I try not to get into too much conspiracy theory and innuendos are here and there because I can't prove nothing.
That's right.
But with that being said, there's a lot of red flags going around this, but this is something to be serious with, guys and gals.
That's it.
There's a lot of people out there, Lyle himself, a lot of Cindy and other people out there that cannot take the chance of being exposed. I mean, a lot of us might be carriers and it might not ever affect us, or we might just get a little head cold or something from it. But the others out there, it's really a big risk to their lives. We've noticed that there's quite a few tournaments, catfish tournaments, bass tournaments, and a lot of other tournaments that are already canceling. One reason is because the state says no gathering more than 100 people. But at the same time, I think it goes deeper than that. I would hope to think that the catfish community themselves are not just thinking about the catfish, but we're thinking about our loved ones and y'all's loved ones also, that nobody wants to expose anybody and put somebody's loved ones in danger.
That's exactly right. Nobody wants for anybody to be sick, but the same stuff that they're describing right now, I had for over 2 months, about 3 months ago. And I couldn't talk. I was coughing all the time, couldn't get air right. And went to the doctor, and they didn't know what it was. And I lived through it. And 97% of the people are going to survive this, they claim. So, just bear in mind, it might not be anything. And there's a lot more people die of the flu that's going to die of this. So just keep things in mind and keep a good perspective about it.
Well, I've
catch a couple of fish and call it a day.
Yeah, and I talked to some people today, and it's the problem is that this is a lot easier to transmit than the flu is. That is one of the main concerns that, children, there's only been one child that's been sick with it, but they are very strong carriers. Well, my concern is that everybody's still got to try to work if your work is still open. Well, who you usually put your kids with? Your grandparents,
That's
or
right.
their grandparents, or your parents, and so now I think what the government's trying to do is trying to break that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
By keeping people at home and stuff that are exposed. There's a 14-day incubation type of period where if you are exposed, but you're just a carrier, then that disease cannot last longer than that. So when you do get around people, you're not exposing somebody else to what you might have been carrying.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking the safest place to be would be out fishing either on the bank or in a boat, just you and one other person. And if you're worried about catching it from that person, you be at one end of the boat and they could be at the other end of the boat, or stay whatever distance it is you're supposed to be apart, and don't share your bucket of worms with them.
There you go. There you go. But guys, I mean, I know we're trying to make light of it, but at the same time, trust me, me and Lyle has talked about this, and this is something that is very serious, that is affecting a lot of people's livelihoods.
It is. And when it goes to affecting how you conduct your businesses and the way of life that you live, and going to school, going to see your parents, your grandparents, and nobody wants to pass any of that along to older folks. At my age, I don't want somebody passing along to me. But you got to live and you got to carry on. So just do what you got to do. And don't hoard all the toilet paper. Man, us old folks got to have that stuff.
I'm going to tell you what, if next week all of a sudden there was a virus that come around with the dysenteries, boy, there'd be a lot of people just crapped out of luck.
I'm just telling you, James, I can't imagine why that would be. People buy every drop of that they can get and leave some poor old guy completely without any. That's
Man,
the craziest thing I've ever heard of.
It'd be a month from now, Walmart lines would be lined at the door, people trying to bring that daggum mess back.
Oh, man.
But
it's just nuts.
Yeah, but I'm going to say one thing right now about my tournament. That, guys, Wednesday night show, I will give you a definite answer whether yes or no this tournament goes on. I've got a few more phone calls I'm waiting on replies back from as to how this is following out. We know for sure from what I've gathered information that this thing will peak. And once it peaks, it drops off fairly rapidly. If that's the case, I guess what I need to say, Lyle, and guys and gals, is that the concern is really not about y'all being sick or coming down sick or getting it on your way here. Is that your money? I don't know what each and every one of you do for a living, but it might very well affect your livelihood if you get called off of work, laid off for a short period of time, or whatever, or have to buy extra supplies or food that you don't normally do. I do not want any of you to think that coming to that tournament is more than important than take care of your family, which I don't think any of you would. But with that being said, I just want y'all to know that we care more about you and your families than we do a catfish tournament.
Well, and that's exactly right. One of the things, James, is people traveling to these events like this, they could pick it up on their way and do the event, and when they get home, notice that they're not feeling well, because you don't know when you're at that store, that convenience store, going in and out of bathrooms. Let's face it, you got to go.
Yes.
You know, when you're traveling these distances that we go to make these things. So I got it. I mean, I understand. It could be more serious than it appears to me that it is, but I just don't see it in the long run. And I'm not blaming these guys for canceling these tournaments. I've been in those positions, and my position has always been safety first. And it doesn't matter if it's because of high winds, if it's because of high waters, it's because of coronavirus. It don't matter what the reason is. You've got to have safety first of the participants and the people involved, whether it's the guys in the boats or running the tournaments or whatever the case is. It's
Right.
got to be safety first. We want everybody to go back to their family safe at the end of the day. And no matter what the reason is, that's the way it's got to be. So I'm on board with that. And anybody that doesn't like that, they need to sit back and consider what's happening, because I promise you, it doesn't matter which tournament director it is, that they are taking this extremely serious, because they do not want to cancel them tournaments. They would never do that if they thought they could make it happen safely and no harm come to anyone participating or helping with the tournament. I guarantee it. Nobody wants to cancel a tournament ever.
Right. And North Carolina might be taking it out of my hands anyway, Lyle, and everybody on here. I seen where Lena said something about the hotel is non-refundable. Well, Lena, right now, North Carolina's got it set at 100. I think they got an announcement tomorrow. They probably going to drop that number down. If they drop that number down to 50, that knocks us out. We've already got right at 40 people that's coming to the tournament that I know of that are YouTubers. Quite a few veterans coming. That's not counting people's partners that's on the boats. So we're going to be pushing a little over 100 people that I know for sure is coming. So, I don't want to get down there and everybody get in town and get set up and all of a sudden game orders and stuff roll up and bust it up and nothing ever get to take place.
Right.
I don't want anybody to have to worry about, I want to come, but yet, you might need medicine next month, but you spend it to come down here. They will be another one. I will be, if I have to cancel it, and I mean, really, I'm leaving it up to Gaston County. They've stopped all schools. They've stopped a lot of stuff the local governments have. So it's coming, and it's probably going to be here before the 18th. With that being said, I will reschedule, and we're looking at a fall time to fish. I was thinking about October, but after talking to quite a few catfishermen around here that tournament fish, October's probably going to be off the board. There's a catfish tournament on our local lakes every weekend that October. So
October's a hot month.
Yes. So we will get a better date. Hopefully we won't have to cancel it, but if any of y'all that's in here that have jobs that's coming to the tournament and your job is really affected as far as your income or whatever, and it might put you in a bind, please let me know. It will help me make the decision that I've got to make.
Yep, that's exactly right. And to the motel thing, if I heard on Fox News yesterday correctly, the government is trying to step in and make those motels and things reimburse people for their reservations. And it's not just motels, it's other things too.
Right.
Because they don't want anybody to get stuck with extra expenses, because this whole thing's going to cost everybody enough money. So I'm not saying that that's 100% correct, but I think they're going to work to make that happen as much as they can, and I think they should.
Right. And I mean, I don't see how a hotel can hold that against somebody and hold their money when it's considered an act of God.
That's part of nature. It's an act of nature, and there's nothing they can do about that.
And they've got insurance. All big businesses like that, trust me, people, they have insurance to cover any of their losses.
That's right. Although they don't want to use it, I'm sure I wouldn't want to either, but that's right. What it's for. That's why you buy it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So, guys, this is not, trust me, the decisions that are being made about anything that I do, as far as my channel, the tournament, I talk with a whole group of guys that tournament fishermen, not tournament fishermen, anybody that just started fishing yesterday that's been fishing for 40 years. I take a lot of good input from people from all around the catfishing community before I make decisions I have to make that affects y'all.
And James, I know that you're going to make the right decision. I know you will. Hey, let's give away some hooks right quick. Pick me out.
Sound like a winner to me. What you need, a number?
Yes, sir.
Let's go with number 1 to make this an easy, just kick it off right.
Yeah, I love that. Palmetto Cats is our winner.
Congratulations, buddy.
Absolutely, Kevin.
And there might,
send me your shipping address after the show, and I will hook you up with a set of hooks, and you can tell us how you like them at a later date, because you may or may not be fishing. I haven't seen him fishing, haven't seen any videos, so I don't know if he's been fishing or not, but I know that a lot of people are starting to get out, and if it ever quits raining, we're supposed to have rain just about every day for the next 2 weeks here, so we'll see how that works out. But then again, Thursday is supposed to be 70-some degrees, and I can deal with that.
yes.
But yeah, I would love to see it 75 and not raining. That'd be.
Palmetto Cat said his boat's down right now.
Then maybe that's why he's not making.
That might be.
I know JR was telling me here a while back when I was talking to him that his boat, his trailer or something was down, but I seen he was out in his kayak yesterday, so he's not 100% out.
No, and he's got a couple good places that we could go bank fish. Me and him tried a couple times bank fishing, but things didn't work out too good at that time. But you know, it's the same bank, everybody. If you bank fish and come into the tournament, that's that same area that can produce a lot of good fish. But it's like anything else, it can also send you home with a skunk too.
Well, you know, I have a question about JR, and I didn't know if maybe you could answer it for me.
Okay.
Does JR fish a lot of tournaments and stuff?
No. Yeah, he's not really a tournament. I think he's in here tonight.
Yeah, I seen that. Is he gonna fish your tournament? Is the question?
Oh yeah, he fishes my tournament. Really, it be talked about it. It's really not a tournament, Lyle.
No,
it is because we're catching fish and we're weighing fish, but it's more of a gathering of friends and stuff that are got a thing in common, and that's catfishing YouTube.
That's exactly right. And I trust me, if it wasn't 14 hours one way, I would love to come out there and be around you guys. I just think that would be so much of a blast to go out there and get to meet a bunch of you guys that I haven't been around.
Right.
Especially you, and I've seen Dieter a few times. I like to shake JR's hand. JR and I got a little project we're working on. And,
I hear you. Dieter's in the house tonight. I seen him earlier. I don't know if he stuck around or not.
Dieter is?
Yeah, he was in there earlier. I don't know if he's still in here or not.
Well, I'm going to let you know something here before we get back to your YouTube stuff.
All right.
JR has agreed to come on and do some stuff with us on Catfish Weekly on Monday nights, and we're gonna have him as a co-host on here. And then if I don't feel like doing the show, he's going to do it. And
I hear you.
And you and I have a deal worked out to do that. So then you can, if I don't feel good some night, you and JR can do it.
Sound like a winner to me. Same here.
I'm excited about having him on here because, you know, there's a lot of things that JR does that I don't really agree with. So him and I may butt heads a little bit. I don't mean go to blows, but we may disagree doing shows, and that might make the show pretty interesting. But other things we agree a lot on. So I'm kind of excited about this, and I'm really happy that he's going to jump in here and help us out a little bit. And I'm excited, and I think that it'll be fun.
Appreciate that, Maurice. Dieter's coming here. He said, bam, he's in the house.
Oh, there
I
he
figured
is.
if we started talking about him, he'd come back in here.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Well, you know, I just can't get over the fact that poor old Dieter does all these videos, and I watch all of his live stuff as long as I'm home to watch him. And on these videos, they don't let people make comments on them, and I can't understand that just because his son Grayson is in a few of his videos, and I'm extremely disappointed in YouTube of stopping that because it's not the same as going on another part and commenting on something as it is commenting on that video. Now, I commented on the one that JR did yesterday that it was on there. And he knew exactly that when I watched that, he knew exactly the comment I made. And Dieter may not realize which video I'm even talking about if I comment on it. And that's not fair to the guys that spend their time editing and making these videos and things. And I know why they do it. I understand all that. But I just don't think it's fair to the people that spend their time doing that. And I agree, Dieter. I am quite sure that it has affected the growth of your channel, but let's face it, you're doing pretty good as it is, and you've grown a lot in the last few years. And I enjoy the stuff that you do. You just need to lay them fish in the water a little bit more gently.
Yeah, it's YouTube is a funny thing, you know. It took me 2.5 years to finally break that 1,000 mark. And I seen some people being here 8 or 9 months and blow right past me like it wasn't nothing. And I'm proud of them. I'm happy for them. You know, it just tickles me pink to see guys get in here, grab a hold of it and run with it, and it actually benefit them. It's, you know, was it Hagen Grubbs? Yep. His channel absolutely blew up. Good guy, real good guy. I love seeing him and his son fish. You know, all of them. I mean, we got great channels in all in here, and all of them.
I'll tell you one that really took off, and he's been around a while, but he's probably one of the biggest fishing channels there is. And I know Dieter knows who I'm talking about, and that's Black Tip H. He does a lot of offshore stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think the guy's all that entertaining, but my God, he's got a huge following.
Yeah.
He really does. And I watched one of his the other day where they was on the bank and they'd been out and they didn't catch anything. They come in and they caught one right on the dock, and it was a giant. If I remember right, it was a big grouper.
Big grouper.
Yeah, to me, he's not that entertaining, but he's got a huge following. There's a lot of other people that I think's more entertaining and I would rather watch, but they don't have near the following this guy's got. And I mean, he's got a huge channel.
Mr. Chris Flores is in the house tonight too.
Always great to have Chris in here. He's one of the big guys in our industry.
Yes, he's good. I finally got to met him up there at CatCon, and me and him's had a long talk, and hopefully I could talk him into doing one of the YouTube tournaments down there in his neck of the woods.
That'd be great.
You know, that's one thing, Lyle, that I never wanted this tournament to be just mine. I wanted other parts of the country people to do it also, because that's a long drive. If you're out, you know, down in New Mexico or out there in your neck of the woods or California or whatever, they can't make that trip. No. So guys, you know, do the same thing across the country. Get these other YouTubers together, have fun, and make it fun, make it enjoyable. Don't make it about trying to, you know, raise money for a good cause, not just don't treat it like a regular catfish tournament. Treat it like a family gathering.
That's a great idea. James Dockery wants to know if you ever got your PayPal account set up.
James, your shirt's in the mail, my friend. Your shirt's in the mail. I'll talk to you, and in fact, I'll call you first thing in the morning, and we'll discuss that. Yes, it is up and running, but they haven't give me my passcode where I can approve something. I don't have a clue why they doing this to me. The wife said they didn't do that to her, and I talked to a couple other people, but I had to send in pictures of my ID and all this other mess. So, but James, your shirt's in the mail.
Very good. You know,
Sorry about that.
No problem. I was going to recommend that you contact Tim at All American Catfishing in Kansas City about checking to see if he'd be interested in running one of them tournaments up in the Kansas City area.
I'll do that.
Yeah, Tim Berger's the guy does a great job running tournaments, and I don't know if he'd be interested in it or not, but I think that if anybody in this area would be, he would be the guy that would do it. And all his tournaments are very family friendly oriented, and he is a no BS kind of guy. He just is straightforward and does a bang up job on the way he does them.
He's in here tonight, ain't he, Jeremy Beecham?
That's well, he fishes a lot of timber tournaments, but
that's what he was commenting about it.
There he is, right down there. He just made a comment. All American Catfish Tournament. Yeah. He says he's interested, so you two can get together.
Yes, I'd like to see other people start it. That's what I've wanted since day one.
Absolutely. I never knew that until you and I was talking. Maybe it was the last time he was on here. But I think that's a great idea. And then you could have guys that do videos, and they don't have to be a Dieter or somebody or a Black Tip H. They can be just little guys,
Palmetto Cat, I can do that. Try to keep it as, I like the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
I like it.
And so, a one fish tournament, it's I know, Lyle, you looked at it you don't like it as a regular tournament, but something like this, that almost guarantees every boat to have a fish. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
And the way we run it is that, let's say this thing still goes on in April, and say Palmetto Cat comes up running late, and all these guys come up and they get on Lake Wiley and they call me in an hour or so and say, James, we can't find the fish. I'm going to get on the horn. I'm going to start calling around to the guys that are Lake Wiley guys and say, all right, guys, where's the fish at? And we're going to put you on fish. We're going to make sure that you find fish. We want everybody to come to the scales with fish.
Yep. That's a great idea to keep people involved in the sport. But right quick.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell everybody that Fishing and Stuff has joined the show tonight. And if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, you need to go on over there because he makes some of the coolest stuff that there is on the market. He's a heck of a guy. And if there's anything in the world that you can make to save money, he's going to make it. He's going to show you how to do it. And if he ever figures out how to get on here or goes to somebody's house where he can, we're going to have him on Catfish Week. I enjoy his stuff so much. I watch every one of his videos, and he's a heck of a guy. And honest to God, I think he can make anything.
Yes. He's sharp. He really is.
It's a blast to watch. And today is not the day he's going to be on Catfish Weeklies. We're going to get him on here one of these days.
Oh yeah, you get him on there. I'm sure. I've been wanting to get him on the show too, and he don't live about 10 minutes from me.
He can drive to your house.
That's what I want him to do. Palmetto Cats permits. As far as permits, that's going to be a state to state requirement. And as far as logistics, it pays to have a group of people that can help you as far as what's around the area. You need to scout out what boat landings is going to be. I wanted it to put it out at another landing on up the lake for this time of year, but that landing cannot hold more than probably 30 boats. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot more than that. So yeah, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to, and I'm taking on a little bit more for this tournament. And actually next year is going to be a lot more. I'm going to start, Lyle, I never really liked that word sponsorship as far as what I do. I think it's great for other people's tournaments and stuff. It's great. I love capitalism. But I think that for what everybody puts in just to come to the tournament, I think it's time for me to step up and do a little bit more for them.
There you go. There you go.
What permits you had to have? Palmetto, the permits. Actually, I was going to be calling. I got the number from Richard and them. North Carolina just requires you to let them know that you got a gathering at one of their boat landings. So if something does take place, they know where one of the larger gatherings are or what landing it's going at. So
Sonny Parker says he thinks that we ought to get James Dockery back on the show so we can give him some more crap. And I'm thinking that we ought to get James's wife, Katie, on the show where we can get her to give us the information to get on James with. For you guys that don't know, I met James and Katie. They drove up to a tournament that Cindy and I fished last year. It was a Fishing for Freedom tournament. The water was ripe, and we went to the lake and fished the lake last year. And James and Katie drove over and watched the weigh-in where we was at. And you'll not find nicer folks than those two. We had such a wonderful time visiting with them at the weigh-in. And if you ever get a chance to visit with them, it'll be time well spent with some wonderful people.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed talking with both of them before the show. I had him on the show. I enjoyed talking with both of them. I've talked with him off and on since then, and I think they're good people. I think they a hoot like me and the wife. They like giving each other a hard time. They funny. Let me turn this heat up. I'm about to die in here.
I had to do it before the show started, so I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, we've been having some good weather, but it's turned off a little cooler, but you just never know. You got to turn the heat down when you got to turn it down.
Well, the past 5 days and nights, I've had the windows open in the house all day and all night. I've enjoyed sleeping and listening to the crickets and the tree frogs.
Well, the last few nights around here, you just shut that window pretty good. It's down in the low 30s and high 20s, but it absolutely has been raining every day. And like I say, I think we got one day in the next 2 weeks that it's not supposed to rain, and it's 90 to 100% chance of rain for the next 14 days.
Hot dog. I'm about tired of seeing rain myself.
What kind of music do fishermen listen to? Well, we listen to the St. Louis Cardinals, but they're not playing right now, so I'm guessing it's 70s stuff for us. Maybe some country if we can't get none of that, but usually 70s. That's kind of when we grew up, and I just about soon listen to that as anything.
Well, I'm one of them people. If I'm on the boat fishing, I don't want to hear no music. I like listening to the waves and what Mother Nature's got to have for me. I fished with a buddy for many years. That's the first thing he'd said on a boat is a daggum radio or something.
Well, if we're playing, buddy, I'm listening to them. I don't care where we're at. But I'm quite a fan. But one of the things that I like to hear, Jeremy Beecham's got it right there. I want to hear that reel go.
Yes.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite sounds of all times, man. I just love it.
I'm going to tell you now, if there's anything I'm listening to, usually it's on the way to the water, on the way back. And guys, y'all check them out. It's called Madison Rising. Great band. These guys are veterans. And their first album they take our national anthem and they Southern rock it. And y'all will love them. They all veterans. They fight for our country. In fact, I reposted the guy live today, Anthony from Madison Rising. Great guy. Had a lot to say. Sometimes he can get a little carried away with his F words, but he tells the truth, guys, and he gives you a point of view from the military.
I enjoyed that so much today. I was so glad you shared that link because that's the first time I'd seen him that I can remember, and I did enjoy it very much. It was awesome.
He fought for our country, but he's still fighting today. You know, and that's what it's all about. But I want to apologize. I haven't been fishing lately, guys. I've had a lot going on and had a lot of health stuff going on also. Homework's killing me right now. The rain's keeping me from going a lot. But I plan on getting back out. I got a few fishing trips planned. Got a few bank fishing trips planned. It's getting that time of year. I got a couple of holes that I want to hit. So I want to take y'all live. And y'all seen today, I was able to finally go live on my mobile. So y'all start seeing some more live feeds while I'm out fishing, which I know I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So, but as far as tournament, I think PD asked. Yeah, PD, I'm still trying to keep the tournament going, but we're waiting on North Carolina to say yay or nay as far as the amount of people. And, you know, there's a lot of other stuff going in on making that decision. Hello, Mr. Kirby.
There's Joey Kirby, Carl Wells.
Running late.
Fetish, Mike Irwin, John Patrick, Eric Deary, running late fishing. I'm trying to get Fin Seeker TV, Kentucky Catfishing, Avid Fisherman, Jaw Jerker, Muskrat Adventures, Mike Greenwell, Nathan Manley, of course, New School, Chad Fields, Cat Kings. I don't know. I try hard to remember all the ones you didn't get. There's Hillbilly. Yeah.
That's hard with me. Whenever I watch Catfish Weekly and I'm in chat, everybody gets to holler. I have to say hello, everybody, because I cannot, guys, and I want to apologize. I cannot remember everybody that says hello.
I know.
I love it. I love every one of you. I do, and I appreciate the shout. And I do want to apologize. A lot of times I'll answer some of the names, but I cannot remember all of them. I want to apologize.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter if it's on Wednesday nights or Monday nights or Tuesday nights or what night it is. If you try to keep up with the chat on these shows anymore, it's nearly impossible to see everything that goes on with them.
It is. And,
Big Nasty's in here, and Daniel and Avid and Big Nasty. I think that was him that was in the show with Pops and K&B when they was testing their boat. I'm not sure it was him, but I'm pretty sure it was him.
It was.
In that video, and he was
good guy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're right. And there's Alan, but they're so proud of that boat, and I've been following that build with them guys working on. I bet I've enjoyed it as much as they have.
Yeah, Richard done a great job. Actually, Richard's down on Santee Cooper right now with his wife. They're pre-fishing for the tournament. And she put a 50 in the boat today.
Nice.
And 6,500 reel broke off right at the rod. The little mountain piece at the bottom broke right off of that reel while she was fighting that 50.
The reel seat?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the second one he's had to do that. The silver ones.
A lot of them, people having problems with that. I've never broke one, but I've heard a lot of other people having that problem.
Yeah, I've got one from him. He said he'll bring that to me. I just take it up to Bass Shack and let him put a new body on it.
Yep.
But I got to look, and I've got some of the older 6,500s. And if you'll look underneath them, that spot weld on the old ones is a lot bigger spot weld than these new ones. These new ones have just barely got a little tiny spot weld on it. So that might be something they need to look into.
Are they welded or are they pop riveted?
They're welded. It's they stick it in between something and it goes, and it welds the metal together. And the old ones has got a big spot about the size of a pencil eraser, but these new ones has barely got a spot that's about the size of a little bitty spot. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any way to make it better or stronger once you get the reels or what.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be fun. A 50-pound fish with a broke reel. Have a reel in your one hand and a rod in the other hand. I believe that'd be a 2-man operation, wouldn't it?
I've seen somebody actually do that on a video. Oh, it's been a year or two ago. One guy was holding the rod, and the other guy had the reel in his hand. They reeled the fish in that way, and it seemed like to me it was a decent sized fish, not just a giant, but a
Right.
pretty decent sized fish. But the reel seat broke, and it might have been Luke Hinges. But it's been a while since I've seen that. But yeah, that broke off of there, and one of them was holding the rod, the other one was holding the reel, and they reeled that fish in that well. But it depends on how long they have the setting on it. If they're doing it, and I'm sure they are, on a timer on a spot weld, would probably have a lot to do with that.
Yes, yes. What's happened to old Luke lately? I hadn't seen nothing of him.
Well, Jacob took a job filming for a company where he does that all the time, which is kind of like his dream job. And Luke, they still do some stuff, but Luke works all the time, and he does a little bit of the other stuff that they was doing, but they don't get out and do the stuff together like they was doing before because everybody's got real life stuff going on.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of it. I haven't talked to Luke in some time, but I think that's a lot of it. But hopefully they'll get back to doing it. I know they went and done some alligator gar fishing, and they went and done a big perch show and some sturgeon fishing here a while back. But he don't do near the live feeds that he was doing, and he does what he does do. He does on Twitch, and I don't like that. There's just something about it that doesn't suit me. But I do miss seeing old Luke all the time because he's a great ambassador to our sport. Just a super nice guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, but it seems like here lately I've noticed that there's a lot of channels that's kind of slowed down. I don't know if it's the YouTube burnout or if it's just people are just kind of taking a little bit of a break. I have, and I know quite a few others have.
I think some of it's winter. Sonny Parker says what causes them to break is how you carry them in your rod storage on your boat. Puts too much pressure on the reel, and that very possibly could be it. That's to give you. I believe in all my heart if you take your reel off of them every time you get done using them and pack them around like that, it would help every part of the rod and the reel last a lot longer. But let's face it, nobody does that.
Yeah, I mean, I admit I don't. I got my rod rack set low enough on my boat that when I stand them up, like going down the water and stuff, the handle is on the floor, so the reel is not supporting the whole rod and all.
Yep.
That the end of the handle is setting against the floor, so it's actually taking the blunt of the punishment going down the water.
That's right. Joey Kirby and will be live tomorrow night with Stacy Gaston. James will be live Wednesday night, and Avid Fisherman will be live Friday night, all at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern.
I keep forgetting about Avid show. Friday nights, man, at 8 o'clock by the end of the week.
I gotta tell you,
passed out.
Dude, I don't know how he can sit there for a couple of hours. He's got great content. He sits there and he talks about everything under the sun. But in 2 hours' time, I got to get up and go take a tinkle now. I mean, I can't sit there for 2 hours. I can't do it.
I can't. And I mean, you know yourself, Lyle, I've had times in here where we've had 50 and 60 people in chat.
Oh.
And it's time to shut the show down. These guys, they'd stay in here all freaking night, and I love it and appreciate it. I do.
Yep.
They make you want to just kind of walk away, leave it with them for an hour, let them just chat. Here's your chat room. Keep on going.
Yeah. Trophy Hunter, welcome. Nathan Manley. Hey, Junior, I forgot to mention Junior Proctor. Blue Dog Fishing is in here tonight.
I talked with him today, too.
Michael Pence, Catfish and Crappie, and John Patrick III. Thank you guys for joining the show tonight, Muskrat Adventures. These guys that get in that chat, sometimes they carry on a conversation among 3 or 4 of them for the whole show, Yeah. Hey, William Barnes.
He said Avid did a 5-hour show one night.
I don't know how now I'm telling you right now, I can't last 5. That's like Luke done a 5-hour one night or a 4-hour one night.
4-hour live feed.
on his phone, hold it in his hand, and I can't do it. Can't do it.
I ain't got enough to say in 5 hours.
Yeah, me either.
And looking at the screen for 5 hours trying to follow comments, my eyes have done be crossed or whatever. But I mean,
catfishing adventures.
Yeah, we're getting a lot more shows coming in, starting up. Some of us just getting started. They got to find their way in this world, and I love it. This sport is big enough for all of us.
It is. It really is. Yeah, you're right, James. I do need a nap every couple of hours.
I ain't the only freaking one. I'm drinking coffee tonight just to keep my eyes open.
Watch all the shows everyone has. There's just not enough hours in a week. That's true. Ernie, you better get that transducer mount going because it's time to start fishing.
Yep. It's about time we can catch flathead year round on our Lake Wiley, and most of the lakes around the Carolinas. But it's starting now for the flatheads to really turn on into the Carolinas. Palmetto, I'm not going to monetize. There's not enough. It would not. I'm disabled for one reason, and it's not enough to offset what I would lose. Plus, my main thing of getting 1,000 was where I could go live, guys, while I'm fishing and bring y'all in the boat with me. That was my main thing, and the tournament. Being able to go live for the YouTube tournament.
Right, yeah. Junior says we old folks need naps. We sure do.
That go right. Yeah, there's a little snow on this mountain too, buddy. I promise you that.
It's called power naps.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes all the power I can get to get my tail back up from taking one up. I'll tell you that now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Once you get laid down and your eyes go closed, the only thing that really wakes you up is when something starts hurting.
Right.
And that'll wake you up about every time.
People saying they want to hear some fishing. All right. It's time to go fishing, guys. And I really hope the tournament can go on. So April's a good month on Lake Wiley for both flatheads, channels, and blues. I know that Richard's on Santee. He's catching some big fish right now. Wiley's been a little tough for the past couple of weeks. Ask Mr. Melhorn. He's been out there. He even went to a different lake on this chain. But without that being said, the fish are still got to eat. They got to eat. You got to put the right bait in the right face. And right now, guys, in North Carolina, we can use game fish. Now, I know Lyle said he wished he could.
I do.
Yeah. Right now, crappie is king right now. They're loaded up full of eggs. They're getting ready to head to the daggum bank to spawn. And them flatheads are waking up and they're going to be ready to eat them some good daggum crappie like we like to eat.
John Patrick seems to think that the snow is melting off of my roof. And John, been doing that for years. And when I was a kid, I had a lot of hair.
Yeah, I used to have a bush.
Well, mine was around my shoulder, but I worked on cars when I was younger, and we had them old wooden creepers and no lifts, of course. Everything was done off gas stands, and them creepers was wood. They weighed about 30 pounds, and when you roll that hair up in them creeper wheels and stand up, and that creeper stands up with it, you go get that crap cut off, and you never go back. You just
Yeah, Glenn had a good day on Watery today, him and Matthew. Yeah, they had a good day on Watery. That's where he got his PB last year, was on Watery.
I tell you what, I watched Bill of Rights the other day, had a funny video, and I enjoyed that. I laughed at him.
He's a good guy.
Like a skit, and I guess it was with his daughter, I assume.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that so much. You don't see that.
He's funny. He's a good guy.
A lot of that stuff I don't like. The TV shows, most of those are put up. They make a skit out of it, and you follow
Right.
it word for word. Most
Right.
of the fish are not caught naturally; they're caught and then put on a hook, and,
Yeah.
and we all know that goes on. And I don't watch very much of that anymore. I just can't do it. The YouTube stuff's pretty much you see it, the bite, you see it caught, and I really enjoyed that. But the other stuff, I don't like that with the way they do them. But that skit he had the other day was funny, and
Oh yeah, he's funny.
I enjoyed that.
I've been watching him for a long time, and I'm glad we correspond. I wish he was a little bit closer. I'd love to meet him. He's down in Texas. Jay's catfishing. My favorite, blue or flatheads. I love them both. I love the way I fish for flatheads, but that first initial pull down of a blue is hard to beat.
Yeah.
That blue, when you hear that rod go thump and rattle in the daggum rod holder, I mean, it's and that line start ripping off that's exciting. At the same time, sat and watch that rod just go. And then back up at old Mr. Flatty and then pull back down. You don't know if you got a little dink down there messing with your bait or you got a 50-pound flathead getting ready to suck your stuff down. That's right. Exciting too. That's part of the hunt. That's so right. It's hard to, but with that being said, Lyle, and I think you've said it before, pound for pound, I chase the channel cat.
Oh, I love channel catfish, especially if you're in water that has quality channel cat.
Right.
There's nothing like them, but I love the flatheads are the king of catfish. They
yes,
really
yeah.
And I love them. Hey, Dave Swearingen, welcome to Catfish Weekly. Crazy Catfishing, Dave Martin. Thank you guys for joining the show. But I do love them flatheads. I don't target them much because for years we done tournaments and stuff, and we're slacking away from that some now.
Right.
In our area, you don't win tournaments on flatheads. You just don't.
Right.
You win them with blues. And that's what you target in our area because that's if you want to win, that's what it takes. Now, you get up north in Iowa and Illinois and stuff, you can do good in channel cat tournaments with them bigger channel cat and things like that. And that's awesome. But for the most part, the tournaments that we fished for years and years, it's been blues, and that's what we targeted. Terry Stone, welcome to the show. Mendota, you're correct. That's a great lake for big channel cat. I love that place. But I just like to catch fish now, and I like to catch bluegill. I like to use them for bait for flatheads. I like to use them for cut bait for blues and channel cat, but I like to catch them.
I like to eat them.
I do too.
Yeah,
I love to eat them. They're great.
We got some ponds down in South Carolina we used to go to with a buddy of mine all the time, and we would, when it was getting supper time, we worked like a daggum assembly line. One catching, one cleaning, and one throwing them in the grease. Them fish would still be wiggling when they hit the grease, son. You talking about good.
I'll bet.
Boy, we'd be fat and sassy, laid back, and about to fall asleep time we got through. And then we ain't talking about bluegill. No, we're talking about double hand size pond farm bluegill.
Yep.
Love that. There's some lakes around that I think there's some lakes around Lyle that you can actually lease a little pond boat to go out on. They guarantee you to catch big brim or bluegill, and they're averaging 2 pounds. Averaging. You can see them on. You look it up on YouTube. Bluegill, world-class bluegill fishermen, and you will see some monster bluegill. Big old knotty head bluegill.
Well, I'm going to tell you, James, that's probably one of the greatest ways to get kids involved in our sport as there is bluegill fishing. Fast action. They're not going to really hurt them unless they get the spines on the back of them in their hand or something.
Right.
And I mean, all you need is a hook and a piece of worm.
Yep.
And you can catch them all day long. if they stop biting where you're at, just move down the stream or around the side of the pond a little bit. They'll pick up.
Yep.
And if you don't like catching bluegill, then fishing's probably not something you're going to enjoy.
Yes, sir. I've said that if you don't still get excited about watching that little red and white bobber take off underneath the water, then it's time to move on to a different hobby.
I agree.
But now, Lyle, I don't know if y'all don't have the white perch up there where you're at, do you?
You know, we've got white bass, but I don't think we got any white perch, not that I'm aware of.
When you come across them with your depth finder, when they up and active, your depth finder will look like a ball of spaghetti on the bottom. You seen it on Dieter's feeds and stuff. Now you take kids out on a boat like that, give them a rod with a sabiki rig on there, and they can drop it down and come up with 5 or 6 fish on there. Now, buddy, you couldn't wipe the smile off a kid's face with a 2x4 if you wanted to. When they reel up and 6 fish is wiggling all over their rods, them kids, good gracious alive, they giggle like a bunch of little girls. It's funny.
When your screen turns white around our neck of the woods, you better look out because them Asian carp's fixing to jump in your boat.
Oh,
on the rivers, anyhow.
Right. Well, I hope we never have to contend with that.
I hope you never have to either. I wish we never had to, but it is what it is, and we're never going to get rid of them. I don't care what they say. They're here to stay. They're become a natural food source, and they really do provide a great food source for these catfish. The only problem is they grow so fast they get too big for the catfish to eat them. But it is what it is, and we're just going to deal with it from now on. And
the environment will work around and figure out a way around stuff. I mean, that's like they introduced the white perch into Wiley. It had never been stocked with the flatheads or the blues. Basically, the fishermen stocked that lake with the flatheads and the blues, and I'm sure some eggs and stuff got washed down from the upper lakes into Wiley. But with that being said, Wiley's always had a good stock of forage. It used to be known across the country for the crappie, and the crappie took a hard hit with the perch come in, but have made a good comeback. The white bass, you won't catch a white bass in Wiley no more. It decimated the white bass. It's changed. It really changed it. But with that being said, the tonnage of forage that is in that lake now is unreal. So with the big catfish in there now, that lake is really, really, really turning on.
I see these guys are in there with Cindy talking about paddles and bats beating on them Asian carp. You guys need to just leave that alone. She has her own little bat. A buddy of mine, John Nordike, built for her. It's got a leather deal. She can run it up on her wrist. He built a bunch of them little billy bats for beating them carp when they jump in your boat. But the paddle deal's out. She damn near knocked me out of the boat with a paddle. She don't get the paddle no more. She's dangerous with that paddle. So
I think they ought to have open season. Everybody has to carry a Mossberg 12 gauge pump shotgun, and this open season like shooting daggum clay.
Oh, my buddy Keith Atkins used to do tournaments and stuff with me years ago. He wanted to stand on the front of the boat, go up and down the Missouri River, and if you go pretty slow around the tips of them winged dikes and just go in behind them, you could shoot all them carp you want to. And he wanted to see how many we get today. Well, it's illegal in Missouri.
Huh.
He said, I think we can do it without getting caught. And I said, I don't know. I'm not going to take that chance. But he really wanted to do that. Now, over in Illinois, they have a tournament over there where you can get them by any means. And I think they do that over there. But
by shooting skeet.
Yeah, I never would take him and do it, but he wanted to so bad. He said, I'll buy all the shells. And I said, I don't think so.
No. I got bail money, but I ain't wanting to waste it on that.
That's right. I think you could have probably took 2 or 3 cases of shells and burned them up probably the first couple of hours.
Oh, yeah.
It was hot in there a couple of places. We used to go get bait, and Yeah, he was all over that. He just thought that'd be a blast, and I'm quite sure it would be. But I think I'll have to pass on that until they make it legal.
Yeah, yeah. Now they legalize it. I believe I'd like to come up and just do that, go on a fishing trip just for that.
We used to shoot them with a bow. They're harder to hit with a bow in the air than you would think.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
But they can be got. But if you go out and think you're going to go out there and shoot them with a bow in the air and hit every one of them, you'll get about. I think I averaged about one out of every 12 or 15.
Dang right.
Yeah. Now, if they're in the water, I can do a lot better with them, but not up in the air like that. But you'll be surprised.
Well, you don't know exactly where they're gonna come out of the water at, and time you adjust, that sucker's done back in the water. So that'd be tough.
Cindy and I fished a tournament over on the Illinois River one year, and they had a boat set up with screen all the way around it to keep them things from jumping in the boat on them. And it was called aerial bow fishing. And that's what they done was they paid this guy to take them out, and they shot them in the air. And we were fishing a tournament, and they was actually taking these guys out shooting them things.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it was quite a deal. They was having a blast, and that was the first time that I swore. Everybody was talking about catching flatheads on cut bait, and I never had done it, and I thought they was just feeding me a line of crap. They kept saying, "Oh, we're catching flathead on cut bait, catching flathead on cut bait," and all I could catch them on was live bait. And that weekend, that night, I caught 7 on cut bait that night.
Yep.
It was a night tournament, and I haven't caught but a handful of them since on cut bait. But we caught 7 that night on cut bait, and that was the first time it ever happened. I was beginning to think it was a old wives' tale, and them guys just feed me a line of crap because I couldn't catch them on cut bait, but I could catch them on live bait. And that night we knocked them out.
I've only caught 2 flatheads on live bait. All the rest of mine's come on cut bait.
Really?
One of them come on about a 14-inch largemouth bass.
Damn, I wish I could use him for bait.
Yeah, I know that tears people's nerves up, but it was
man.
It was one of them days I was struggling for bait. I got a couple big hand-sized brim and a couple demo. Actually, it was Kentucky spots. We got some lakes right here that's got a ton of the spots in it, and I got legal size. And I mean, we can have. It used to be 7, but it's 5 now. 3 has to be legal limit. You can have 2 under the legal limit, which that means any size. But he was right at between 12 and 14 inches long, and I hooked him in the tail, got the end of his fins off, and throwed him out there. And actually, a buddy of mine was hooked up on him. It was the night I caught my big flathead. It was about probably not quite a 20-pounder that took that big bass.
Wow.
Yep. I mean,
so
guys, Lyle, that's the question I want to ask you. You know, I've seen some videos of fish taking other fish that was dang near the same size as they were. And I've seen pictures, buddy, my Wampus cat, he's caught a couple flatheads in the 60s. That is a monster head and mouth on that fish. Right. That son of a gun, you can stick your head in his mouth, looks like. That tells me you really can't fish with too big a bait.
You can't. I tell people that, and they say, "Well, how big a bait you using?" Well, we go to Memphis or St. Louis or someplace like that, and hell, we use a skipjack that big. It'd be 12, 14 inches long or bigger, and I'll cut the tail off of it and use the whole thing. And they say, "Well, what? That's too big." Well, it's not. They'll take the whole thing. They'll take it off.
Yeah. How many fish have you caught on a bait that size?
I've caught 15 and 20-pound fish on stuff that size. They'll take the whole thing. And sometimes you won't get the bait back, and sometimes you'll get some of it back.
Right.
But it just depends on the hook set and how soon they get it. But I know guys that you see online all the time that'll use a 2.5, 3 pound bait,
Dang right.
live or dead. They just
Dang right.
I like big bait, and I like big bait when I'm back bottom bouncing on the big rivers.
Got you.
You know,
It's
when you're trying to back bottom bounce that thing in heavy current, but there's no question when he takes it. No question.
he tries to take the rod out of your hand, don't he?
Take it away from you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we hear like Jeff Manning, he caught that 82 pounder, Lake Wiley record. He said he had a piece of bait was no bigger than a couple inches, and said he wasn't even planning on catfishing. He was testing his boat, decided to throw his rods out. Said he no sooner got the rod in the stand and it went down. His boat was still running. You could see that in the video. His boat was still running. Will a big catfish take small baits? Yeah. Yes, I think you pretty much got to put it on their nose, because are they going to swim 10 feet out of the way to get that little bitty piece of bait? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I really don't. I think if you put it on his nose, he's going to say, morsel, and suck it in, but he's looking for a meal. He's looking for a meal.
I'll tell you how you hold down a 3-pound piece of bait. You use lots of weight.
Yeah.
We fish the river. A lot of times we're using 20, 24 ounces of weight.
Ah, dog. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
You ain't casting that much weight, are you? You just throwing it over the side of the boat and let her go down like an anchor, ain't you?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah. But I have casted. The reason why I don't like to cast is not because you can't cast that kind of weight. It's because you pull the hook out of the bait.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you just drop it off, and when it hits the bottom, that fish has got 2 hooks in him, so that bait is, so he's not as lively as he once was.
Right.
So once that back bottom weight hits the bottom, and lots of times when you're using the bait that big, you got to be using 20, 24 ounce, and it'll thump, you'll feel it thump, and just bounce it down through there.
Yeah.
It ain't no question when they hit it. And
right, and I mean, even when you
fish will take it.
Right.
It surprise you.
Now, when you anchor it up and dropping that kind of big baits down, that's going to be come back to where you need to learn your electronics.
Yep.
And you're setting up on an individual fish.
Yep. Spot locking on a bunch of fish at the end of a wing dike or behind a wing dike or something where there's 3 or 4 decent fish is the perfect place to do that. Just spot lock on them and drop them big old baits down there and hang on. That's the perfect way to do that.
Yes, sir.
And bullheads, you are correct, or 1-pound carp. Yeah, you're right. Catfish and crappie. That spot lock is a wonderful tool.
Palmetto, I went one time. I caught a barracuda about 38 pounds. That's the only chance I've ever been out. And when I was growing up, my father went a lot with the guys from work, but I never did get to go. I was too young back then. And
Cindy and I went to, it's been several years now, but we went down to Puerto Galarte and we took a trip down there and went out and caught a bunch of Dorado. And we enjoyed that. Had a good time. Cindy caught a really nice one. We had an option to go on one of 2 boats. The other boat, one of the guys that we was with from another company, he caught an 8-foot sailfish. So, but we went with one of the guys from our company that we just stayed with him.
right.
But that's the only time that we've been out on the ocean, and I didn't get much fight out of him. This didn't impress me, but.
That barracuda's like he's like a daggum torpedo in the water. That son of a gun moves. That's a fast moving fish right there, boy.
They got some speed then.
Yeah.
I never did get that much fight out of these, but the deckhand on the boat we was on, actually you wasn't supposed to do it, but he hooked up on a dolphin, a real dolphin, porpoise. And
Oh,
so
I hear
he
you.
had all to do that, but
Right.
he did, and he had to break the line off to get him off because he was just horsing around. He didn't think he'd get him hooked on, and he did.
Right.
And that looked like a pretty good battle.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
But yeah, they was throwing him bait out there, feeding him.
Right.
Next thing you know, he threw the one out there had a hook on, and you're not supposed to do that, but
No.
they were just horsing with him and hooked him, and they had to break the line off. But yeah, I knew that they wasn't supposed to be doing that, but it looked like that was a pretty good fight for a few minutes, and then they cut the line, got him off because they knew they didn't want somebody saying something when they got back.
Right.
But, that to me, we was down there having fun, so that's worked out.
Oh, there's a lot of different fish, a
Yeah.
lot of them sharks, Digger goes after them sharks and stuff. That's that's a good fight. Biggest shark I think I've caught was probably close to 20 pounds, but I caught it in the surf. Now, buddy, that's a good fight. You catch a 20-pound shark in that surf. Now you got your hands full.
Oh, I'm sure.
Especially them on light action reels that ain't nothing compared to what we got now, man. Back then in the day, them old reels had their hands full time you run up and down the daggum water.
Yeah. I see Fin Seeker says something about Goliath Grouper. The way my shoulders are now, I couldn't do a Goliath Grouper. Couldn't do that. The shoulders just wouldn't take it. But there was a time I would have liked to try one.
Oh, yeah.
They do look like a lot of fun. James, thank you so much for coming in here tonight and talking about your YouTube thing. Keep us posted if we need to do this again and talk about what needs to be done or anything. Let me know when you get your information. Be sure to let us know on there. We wish you the best of luck with this, and if you're able to do it, we want to tell everybody that you're able to do it, and tell everybody how they can find out all the information about what you got going on Wednesday nights in the YouTube channel.
Yep. You can go on my Facebook page. I notice a lot of you don't do Facebook page, but every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I have my talk show, and I try to put up all the information I can on my Facebook page. I don't really have any other avenues for that. I do have an Instagram, but it's not been active lately. So, and if you need information, just contact me on Messenger, or you can text me if you don't do the Facebook thing at 704-600-8369, and I'll text you the information, send you pictures of the rules and regulations of the tournament that you might need to know. And guys and gals, I will get the information to you as quick as possible about whether the tournament's going on. I know right now, all your local governments and stuff right now, are they playing it by ear from day to day. I don't want to call it off and everything be just fine, but yet I don't want to not call it off and cost people money. With that being said, God bless y'all. God bless America. And we'll come out the other end of this, and I promise you we will. We'll come out stronger just like we always have.
That's the American way, James.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for being part of the show tonight. Thanks all our viewers. And remember, next week, co-host for the show, J.R. Cochran. Thanks, everybody. See you then.
Good night.